Well, hello everyone and welcome here to West Beach. Another fantastic game we have lined up for you today. Of course, we're continuing the umpire appreciation round. My name's Peter Williams and with me I have the legend of the sport, Alan McAuliffe. Alan, we're about to see a game between the top of the table, Walkerville, versus the second-ranked team, West Torrens. One's got a pretty strong batting lineup, one's got a pitcher who's on fire. What are your expectations for today?
I can tell you what my expectations would love to be. Having been a Walkerville Life member, I would like to see an excellent game with the Blues coming out on top.
And by the Blues, you mean the Walkerville Cats, not the ones behind the plate?
That's what I mean, absolutely.
Well, it'll be interesting when we get back into the booth and you sit up there next to Steph Trzynski as the West Torrens legend. So it's going to be a great round. What does the rounds like this mean to the umpires as well, the umpire appreciation round?
Excuse me, it means quite a lot. Obviously, we're down on numbers at the moment, and especially from our senior umpires. So this is the opportunity for us to show what we can do and encourage other umpires or other people to come in and help us out.
Well, there you go. You've heard it. Stick by and listen to this game. We're going to speak to Alan McAuliffe. We'll have another guest commentator come through the game as well. But West Torrens, Walkerville, we're going to throw over to the commentary box now, over to Steph Trzynski.
Thanks for that one, Pete. Hello, everyone at home, and welcome to Softball SA Round 5 completion of the Premier League. This week, we see top of the table clash, as Pete was mentioning, between West Torrens and Walkerville. It's going to be an absolute cracker of the game. Just as Pete said, West Torrens have a hitting lineup on fire. Walkerville have a pitching lineup with a very impressive 1.1 ERA and a whole lot of strikeouts so far, leading the league in strikeouts this season. So this is going to be a game that I think quite a few people are interested to see. Gives me thoughts back to a few years ago where West Torrens and Walkerville were in a couple back-to-back finals together, so I'm sure both teams wouldn't have forgotten about that as of recent. And today, as we mentioned previously, is Umpire Appreciation Week. So we will be having a few special guests, one of them being Alan, who we've already seen on the camera today, talk to us a little bit about his journey as a very well-established and decorated umpire. And then later on, we'll have a second special guest umpire to talk to us a little bit about how you can get involved in umpiring locally as well. So, what a game. We excited?
This is a huge game, 1v2. We've obviously seen Walkerville play one more game than West Torrens, but I'm really excited by this. West Torrens have got a very powerful batting lineup and a lot of speed around the bases. They're coming up against a Walkerville pitcher who doesn't give anyone a chance in that box. And, we'll talk about her stats if you haven't already through the game. They are phenomenal for pre-Christmas stats. And it's going to be good to see some of these West Torrens players who are part of the Stars lineups as well take on the pitcher who's just in phenomenal form.
Yeah, we've got about 3 minutes till game time. Teams just finishing up their warm-ups. And as we have eyes on Walkerville pitcher getting in a few more reps before we start. Did you want to take us around the who's going to be fielding first? The West Torrens Eagles. You want to take us around the West Torrens Eagles lineup before we start?
Absolutely. Pete? So in the middle we've got Talia Sutton, who's pitched majority of the innings for West Torrens this year, pitching to Amber Hood, who had a great game on Wednesday night. Sophie Hoyle up at first, Emma Burridge at second. Maddie Scott will be at shortstop and Lana Kaysler at third base. So a very stable infield there for West Torrens. Then we go to the outfield where they've got Caitlin Holt, Alicia Marshink and Abby Luttrell fielding the outfield positions. Jordan Harris, Jackie Beale and Asher Scott on the bench for them. Alan, yes. Your chance to introduce the umpires for today's game and tell us a little bit about them.
The umpire at the home plate is Nikki Wong. She is a level 4 umpire, having come down from Queensland last year. At first base, we have Acacia Van Marley. Acacia is one of our up-and-comers. Shows a lot of potential. Unfortunately, we've only just seen her starting this week because she had a bit of an injury. She was in the pageant last week as a clown and managed to turn her ankle over. So this is her first time back, and we're looking forward to seeing some more improvement from her. At third, we have Toby Sadler. Toby is a level 3, level 4 umpire, I'm not quite sure. He's just from Victoria, come over here with his partner and is helping us out really well. It's great to see some of these people come in from interstate, especially when they can fill in our senior competition like they are.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't realise we had so many interstate umpires coming in, and what a great feature that Spacequake Sports can provide to sort of bring light to the games that can be played on the replay for them to go back and watch. And that's really exciting that we had so many interstate umpires come in.
Absolutely, and one of my roles is to talk to the coaches of the games, get some feedback from them as to what they are seeing from the umpiring. If the umpires are making some decisions they're not happy about, they can talk to me about them. I can then go back and talk to the umpire concerned, and it's a way of mentoring and overcoming some of the problems that we get confronted with.
There's a fairly good look into the inside of the umpiring in South Australia.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Love that insight from you, Alan. As Chelsea Robinson now steps up to the plate for pitch one against the youngster Talia Sutton, who has shouldered the majority of the pitching load for the West Torrens Eagles this year. As strike one on the hitter is called, Talia has struggled a little bit getting control early on in that first inning, so really good to see her starting off with strike one on the hitter. Chelsea just knobs the end of that one, and Maddie Scott's going to field that up. No problems, fire the out at one for out number one for West Torrens.
Pretty stock standard play there for Maddie Scott. Good to get her glove onto it early though, and see that arm firing straight across right off the edge of the bat, as you said there. Off the end of the bat, I should say, as you said, and thrown over nicely. Perfect position. Great
little look on the Aqaba Hotel replay there from Spacequake. Chelsea a pretty quick runner too, so she hit that ball hard enough that Maddie, great transfer, good to throw out at one. As Sophie King takes first pitch for a strikes. Talia Sutton throwing lots of strikes straight off the bat. Good to see.
Yeah, I did watch Wednesday night, and I think you made comment in that game that she was just that little bit slow with the starts, but then she came into it in the second and third onwards. So.
Mixes it up for a change-up, just misses that outside corner. That one there's a tricky one because you can see, and I'm sure Alan might weigh in on that one, but you can see where Amber catches the ball. It might be at the top of the strike zone, but that change-up, you can't necessarily tell, but it really drops off the table. So, of course, go ahead. Go ahead.
The catcher setup is extremely important from an umpiring point of view. We need to be able to see the plate. We need to be able to see the top of the zone. When they come in high like that and they do drop, quite often they're dropping behind the zone, even though it may look like a strike from back here.
Yeah, definitely. In from the side, and a lot of people just sort of get hung up at where the catcher catches the ball. But definitely that change-up sat a bit higher. Talia really needs to work on having it sit a bit lower so it goes through the zone and then drops down. As Sophie King watches that one for a ball. I think we're at 2-2 now.
One of the other things that we do look at is what the catcher does with the ball or with the glove after they've caught the ball. If they catch it and then switch their hand, that's a pretty good indication to us that she didn't think it was a strike.
Sophie King's going to rip that one up the middle to centre field for the first hit of the ball game as she finds herself on first base.
Sophie King's just continuing a phenomenal start to the season for her. She hasn't been here a bit. I'm assuming it's missed through work, being a shift worker, but sitting up the top, over 545 is her average currently, and only the 4 games for 12 plate appearances for 6 hits. She's doing pretty handy.
She is very good at just getting on base, Sophie King.
Been around for a while, knows the game well.
Yeah, absolutely. It brings to bat Hayley Mayer in the left-handed batter's box as she takes ball one. You see Hayley hit as a true left-hander, as Talia finds the outside corner of that for strike one. True left-handed hitter and pitcher and fielder and everything else she can do, so she's just as likely to turn around and bunt or slap or hit a long ball from that side of the box too, which really has added a little bit more depth to that Walkerville lineup. As Amber's going to just let that one get away from her. And Sophie King is pretty quick to identify that and steal onto second base.
So you're saying framing can be a pretty good hint to an umpire?
Oh, yes, it certainly can. Not only the framing sideways, also when the ball goes down, if the catcher goes down with the glove like that, then there's a fair chance that it's gone too far, as distinct from catching it straight forward.
As Amber calls timeout, just to settle down her young pitcher with the count at 3-1. So in that case, Alan, are you telling me that as a catcher, is it almost like a less is more sort of situation?
Certainly is.
Less is more, got it.
Well, there's some good advice for all the catchers out there.
There you go. As Talia is going to find the outside corner to bring the count to full, you'll see Amber jump around quite a bit as that catcher. So especially in that instance, sometimes when she sets up so far off the plate, it may be for her more important to get the pitcher to hit the spot.
Absolutely.
Yeah. As Talia's going to go upstairs for the strikeout for the second out of the inning.
But in that instance there, when she did jump across to the left, you notice that Nikki also followed her across a little bit, which opened up the plate even more for her to make sure she was seeing the edge that she was looking for.
That's something I haven't really noticed before, so that's a good little handy hint. As Talia's going to miss high for ball one on the clean-up hitter today, Sophie Roberts. Runner on two with 2 out. Speedster at second base. Runner in scoring position for Sophie Roberts. Ash is going to take a big swing at that one, that rise ball that Sutton's been leaning towards already this game.
Sophie quite capable of putting the ball to the outfield here and scoring. Speedy King over at second, so West Torrens will be wanting to close this one out. Ooh.
That one's just in the dirt, blocked by the umpire in that instance, but hit what looked like the front of the plate and sort of took an unfortunate bounce for King to slide over to third base. Well, she stood, she ran. She didn't actually slide, she ran.
Quick enough.
Yeah, she was quick enough.
It's a pretty nasty little jump off the home plate there up into the probably the throat guardish area.
Yeah.
Or had a few of them in your time?
I certainly have. In particular, one when I was umpiring a state game in Victoria.
Sophie Roberts going to get under that one, hit it out to left field. We see Maddie, we see Caitlin. Caitlin Holt's going to take that for the third out of the inning.
That was a good call out there. Maddie was running back with it. We've seen her cover some ground to get into that left field sort of position. She can do it, but very confident call from Caitlin to call her out to take that final out of the inning.
Yeah, what a great look here on the Arkabar replay. Sophie got all of that, just hit it up. Maddie covered some ground, as did Caitlin. Maddie is a really strong player in that shortstop, so for Caitlin to have the sort of strength and the confidence to call her off there is really, really good from such a young player out there.
Just going back to that, what you were mentioning before, Jenny Holliday was the pitcher for Victoria, one of the quickest pitchers that we've ever seen playing for Australia. She threw one down in the dirt, came up off the plate like that, hit me in the throat guard, knocked my throat guard back into my throat. I could not talk for a little while. And it actually burnt a mark on the throat guard.
Oh, wow.
If I didn't have that throat guard on, I suspect I might not be here today.
Oh, wow. Very thankful for all the protective gear that the Blues wear out there.
Absolutely.
Should I roll round?
Yeah, absolutely. Take us through the Walkerville lineup, Pete.
So in the middle, Taylor Cordell, who's been pitching phenomenal so far this season, to Chelsea Robinson, who Walkerville are enjoying having back in their lineup. Georgia Mason at first, Erin Stone at second, Sophie King over at shortstop, Sophie Roberts at third, and the outfield, Steph Gall, Hayley Mayer and Casey Taylor, with Erin Reid and Kelly Bestet on the bench. And a DP for her first game in Adelaide Premier League is Ellie Smith, an international power hitter, I hear.
Oh, there we go. Inside scoop, huh?
She's was a pitcher. Pitchers probably will pitch some B grade, but known as a bit of a power hitter.
She'll be leading off the next inning, so we'll wait and see how that one unravels. In the meantime, Maddie Scott comes up to the plate to see the first pitch of Taylor Cordell, the rise ball throwing strikeout pitcher that she's sort of put her name in the sand already. See what Maddie can do. She takes first pitch for a strike.
So, rise balls is well known for Taylor. As an umpire, is any certain type of pitch a harder one for an umpire to call?
Yeah, I think the pitcher that drops the ball, change up drop, that's the harder one to call rather than the rise ball. Most batters will chase a rise ball. They don't tend to chase the slow dropper.
Is that also because you're used to the pace of the ball coming in and it's coming different for an umpire?
Yeah, it can make a difference. If the umpire's doing the right thing, they have a look at the pitching before the game starts, and they generally would ask the pitcher to throw whatever you've got as your best pitch to let me have a look at it. I don't want to be surprised when you throw it during the game because I haven't seen it before. Do the right thing. We'll help you if you help us.
Right, so opposition teams pay note that the umpires want to see all the repertoire in the warm-up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's something as a pitcher that I always try to do something of as well. Not only for my own purposes to warm the pitches up, but again, like you said, I want the umpire to be on it from the first pitch. I want them to see the pitches straight away. So that's definitely something that I know that I've been on the same page of as well. As Maddie's going to take that one for a ball, brings it to full count for the leadoff hitter.
And you being a pitcher, Steph, you also like to see how the umpire would be setting up, because if you see the setup right, you'll know how the umpire's likely to call a certain pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. Payoff pitch here for Scott as she swings and misses on that outside rise ball for another strikeout for Caudle.
Yep, as we've seen in the stats, and we know West Torrens like to swing the bat and have a go, but we've seen in the stats that most of Taylor's strikeouts have come from people going down swinging, so she takes him to the depth and makes him go at it, so it's what she's known for, and she does it with number one.
This brings to bat Amber Hood in the 2-hole for West Torrens Eagles.
Also, first time these two teams have met this year, so it would be their first look at Taylor, who's been the only pitcher for Walkerville so far.
Amber Hood hitting 40-44 on the season already. She did miss a few games due to a little bit of an injury, but she's been back the last week or so, and she played extremely well on Wednesday night. So we'll see what she can do here as she swings at that one for strike two.
It's my first time watching Taylor from this position. She hits that glove hard in behind as well, so there's plenty of pace coming in on the pitch.
Amber's going to foul that one off to stay alive. Mason makes a pretty good effort to try and catch that ball over there. I thought that was a no-doubter over the fence, but she got pretty close to that in the end. Yeah,
Coach Sutton getting out of the way in the fairly good chase there by Georgia. Nearly got to it.
You know what? I really love that from Caudle as well, because it counts 0-2. She's thrown 2 strikes. Every pitch has been around the zone. That third pitch that Amber fouled off was indeed, in my humble opinion, looked like it was around that zone. So she's not playing around with them. She's there. She means business. She's throwing strikes.
Oh, yeah.
As she finds that outside corner for strike 3 on the hitter.
Yeah, that's another one to add to the collection. And Amber probably didn't look like she was 100% on that, but that's the zone. And if you put the ball close enough, you've got to swing the bat.
Yeah, no downer on that Aqaba replay there for a strike. Brings to bat Lana Kayser, currently leading the Eagles with a .471 batting average.
And she's had a good night the other night as well.
She has indeed. Lana has quite a short swing, so maybe that will be a little bit more in favour of that rise ball pitch. Might be able to get her hands to it a little bit better.
Have you seen that Taylor throws many drop balls, or is mainly a rise ball pitcher?
I haven't seen enough of her yet, to be honest. And I know from probably my experiences, she just misses that one for a ball in the batter. From my experiences, especially early on, I tend to not throw all my pitches straight away. Yep. So maybe there is a drop ball in that back pocket, but until she needs it, it might stay there. She has obviously been really effective throwing that up ball. And even what looks like that sort of low rise ball fast ball, that pitch that sits right around the knees, looks like it still has that bit of up ball. Maybe screwball movement. I'm not totally sure. I'll let you know when I finally put a helmet on.
A screwball one that we see mainly a lot of international people playing with.
Australian softball hasn't had too much east-west movement. A little bit of curveball historically, but we haven't used a whole lot of screwball, which is obviously that for a right-handed pitcher going in towards the right-handed hitter. As Caudle rockets that one down for another strike on the hitter.
Yeah.
Typically, we put more emphasis on the north-south, up and down movement.
Down.
Typically, you'll have a little bit more consistency, a bit more success.
Yep.
The screwball does seem to be something that we see a little bit more in American style pitching. As Lana's going to stay alive, foul that one behind her.
Yeah, I must admit that the first time I ever saw a real screwball was when I went away for the World Championships in America. Mm-hmm. And the American pitcher then, she threw one. Holy golly, what the devil was that? I need to concentrate a bit more here.
Didn't throw it in a warm-up.
No.
2-2 count on the hitter. As Lana's going to just sort of pepper that one out to Erin Stone over there at second base for the third out of the inning.
Yeah, we go to the end of the first. Erin looked there a little bit thinking that ball was going to fly a bit further. She hesitated slightly, got back a little bit, put the glove up, and it just died on its way. And probably just that little punchy hit was all that it did it to, and it got there. So we go through the first innings at 0-0. Now,
so an update from the back diamond is Sturt versus Glenelg. Glenelg have taken the lead at 2-0 in the bottom of the first inning. So
we saw Sturt win on Wednesday night against Port.
We did see Sturt get up on Port on Wednesday night, so it's anyone's game so far, isn't it?
It's
a lot
incredibly
happening.
close, the ladder. It's scarily close. Anything could happen at this time of year, which is good. It means gives a strong back end of the season for everyone to be throwing their best and not trying to tinker with lineups to qualify people. You just put your best out there and get into the game, get into the finals. Alan, you've had a phenomenal career in softball.
Yep.
Over a number of years. We call it experience. We don't call it old. Now,
I think old's the operative word, though.
Going off of that, go back to the start. How did you get involved? What was it that got you into the game?
Into the game of softball? Okay, I played baseball through my younger years. Baseball was a winter sport. When they switched baseball over to summer, one of my teammates in baseball had a young lady working with him that wanted to, or did play softball, and she asked him if he would come out and coach the softball team. He said, "No, I can't do that."
So you just stop here for a sec.
As Ellie Smith is going to absolutely nail that one to the sky. Maddie Scott's going to take a fantastic catch out there, tracking that all the way behind her. Almost fell into no man's land, but our first look at Ellie Smith, swung at the first pitch, hit it to the moon. Maddie Scott made a cracker of a catch out in what was almost left field out there.
She was spinning circles to catch
She
that one. It
was,
was a great
wasn't she?
catch. Keep going, Ellen.
Yeah. So he said no, he can't because he plays tennis, but he thought, I reckon I might know somebody that would do it for you. And he asked me if I'd come out and coach this particular team. Why not? It's only D grade or C grade or something. So I did. What they didn't tell me was that you coach the A grade, but you have to umpire the B grade. They didn't tell me that to start with. Okay.
One.
So I better go and buy a rule book and find out what this game is all about. I did, and that's basically where it started. B grade for the Plimpton Sunsets.
Plimpton Sunsets.
Yep.
Georgia Mason is the hitter for the Walkerville Cats. Counts 2-1. Talia's just going to miss that up and outside pitch with that rise ball to bring the count to a 3-1 hitters count in this situation.
And if you don't mind me asking, what year would this have been?
I had that thought as well, but I didn't want to ask.
What year would that have
Scarily
been?
worried I wasn't born.
1960.
Yep, that was right.
I can tell you I definitely wasn't born.
And I've been involved in softball ever since.
64 years out here.
Wow. Count on the hitters full as Sutton just found that outside corner. Payoff pitch here to Mason. She's going to foul that one off down right field line, stay alive. Oh, I think we might have had a bit of a casualty out there in right field. Hopefully everyone's all okay. Looks like there's smiles and laughter. can see here on the Anchor replay, we might be able to see. Hit the pole and then sort of pinballed down a little bit, didn't it?
Everyone thought they were safe until it hit that pole.
Change up from Talia as Mason's going to do a fantastic job on waiting on it, peppering it down the line as she stands up at first base for Abby Luttrell to pick up and throw into her fielders.
Yeah, she sat on that well, punched it out, got on it, out into the outfield. Abby Luttrell did a good job. She didn't charge at it. There was a risk there if she did and tried to take that catch, it gets past her. She accepted it on the bounce and made sure she just kept it at 1.
You often see the ball spinning like that and they do charge it, gets past them, and instead of being 1 base, it finishes up being 2, 3.
Yeah, 2 would be best case almost, really.
Yeah.
As Steph Gold's going to foul that one behind her. Notice that Walkerville hitters have been pretty aggressive. There have been a lot of first pitch swings. Mason did go into full count just then. So after seeing that full count at bat, Sutton falling behind, Steph Gold's come in and swung at that first pitch. So obviously Walkerville will have a little bit of a game plan there to attack the pitcher early.
Yeah, and I think as you said earlier that historically, and was saying, she takes a bit of time to get into her game. So I think Walkerville trying to get that jump and trying to get ahead.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was talking to Derek Roberts, the scorer for Walkerville, and he was saying this year, there's been a bit more positivity in the box and that. And he said it probably is because they've been in positions where they've been leading. You've been able to be that more positive and more go at it, whereas when you're chasing, it's a lot harder. There's more pressure on you.
It also makes a difference when you've got a pitcher that you know is doing the job, which means your defence is being able to work a little bit better. And if your defence is working better, then it goes into your mind that you can attack the same way.
Yeah, and we noticed that Caudle pitching for a pick-off attempt there at 1 by Amber Hood. Slides back in, dives back in safely over there. Notice that Taylor Caudle, pitcher for Walkerville, is not hitting for herself. That was Ellie Smith, who is the other half of her today. So really just gives her that opportunity. As Sutton's going to find that bottom outside corner to catch her looking for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, good comeback there from Talia. As we said, they've been aggressive. They got aggressive. She got 2 up, then she gave a couple back and she finished it off nicely there. Interesting with Ellie Smith. First A-grade game, first pitch, she swings at it.
What a great shot there on the replay. You can see that rise ball from Talia. She's just sort of trying to get underneath it. Maybe not risen so much, but had really good backspin, still able to find that outside corner. Brings to bat Casey Taylor in the left-handed batter's box today for Walkerville Cats.
On that strikeout, I could put my coach's hat on there. One of the things that we always have said to our batters, don't let the umpire surprise you. Anything that's close, you need to be going.
Absolutely.
It's better to be out on a swing than out on a called strike.
Close enough to call, it's close enough to swing at, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I'm a pitcher, so obviously I'm going to say that. Close enough to call, close enough to swing.
Yep.
Anything here, as we saw before with Amber Hood, she sat on one that she thought was close, but it probably should have been swinging.
2-1's the count on the hitter.
We'll get on to a bit more about the umpiring history of you, because I feel it's a fairly lengthy book with some pretty good experiences.
Yeah, a bit long.
Bit long.
We'll see a break here. So obviously you started out, how did you get into, you obviously got forced into umpiring through being a coach. What did you think of it when you first started doing it?
Yeah, I didn't mind it at all. And it's pretty much easy at that stage because the players had no idea what they were doing either. But the chairman of the club, Arthur Smutch, he sort of thought, this guy's got a little bit of talent out there, what he's doing. He recommended I should take it on a little bit more seriously. So, okay, I did. Came down here and umpired a few games down here. In my work, I was a relieving manager not a manager at that stage, but I was a relieving clerk in the bank. I got sent up to Whyalla.
As that ball was just going to go foul, I thought we might have seen a Lana Kaiser special there.
Have a dive?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got sent up to Whyalla, and on this particular weekend, I driving past the local oval, and there's a softball game going on. I wonder what it's like. So I went down and spoke to there was only 2 umpires there, and I spoke to them and I said, hey, would you like to have a third umpire in this game? Unbeknownst to me, it was the state coach, or not the state coach, but Ken Westlink. You may have heard of his name, and John Claxton. They were highly regarded in softball circles, and they said, you're not doing too bad, you ought to do the umpire's exam. So I did. And that was a mistake because I passed it with a 99%. So I got encouraged to do it a bit more.
Nice.
So we saw Casey Taylor take a walk. Aaron brings the bat. Aaron Stone, the 9-hitter. There's that outside dropping away sort of change-up pitch that Alan was talking about earlier. What a great pitch by Talia.
Erin's had a good start to the year as well. Probably one of her better starts,
she has,
I'd imagine.
She? Great pick up there by Scott as she fires the out at 1 for the 3rd out of the inning.
Yep, so we turn through 1.5, scores 0-0. It's a tough fighting battle so far. So you sat the umpire's exam, passed it with 99%.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's better than any school exam I ever did, so you obviously kept going on from there.
Yes, I did. I got encouraged to come down and umpire some games down here by John and Ken. Put me into some A-grade games, and I think I relayed the message at one stage that I was the first person that ever dated Nancy Whittingham. Because back then, you see now the umpires are calling play ball and they point.
Yep.
Back then, when it was play ball, we had to just use an underarm action like pitchers do. I did that and went straight up Nancy's, where. So she got dated.
All right, a little bit of an update again from the back diamond. Glenelg Rebels are still up 2-0 in the bottom of the 2nd. There's runners on 2 and 3. For the Sturt Falcons, Maddie Cameron looks like she's having a good game. Already picked up a hit after her 2-run home run night on Wednesday. Pitching is Zali Adams for the Sturt Falcons. Glenelg, Emily Price pitching, and we see Courtney Shepherd's come up with the RBI so far in that game for that back diamond. More updates on that one soon.
Nice.
Brings to bat the 4-header for the West Torrens Eagles, Emma Burridge, to face Taylor Caudle for the first time this season. Swing and a miss at that first pitch there for Emma Burridge. Tell you what, Walkerville are really lucky in the fact that they've got someone like Chelsea Robinson that can just sort of slot in and catch so well to someone of Caudle's calibre as well, because I know that especially when you've got the spin and the speed that a pitcher like Caudle has, it can take a while for a catcher to sort of catch up to that or to get comfortable with that. But Chelsea's able to just jump in there like she's caught for her for years and really bring out it looks like to me anyway, really bring out the best of Taylor straight off the bat. Where we've previously seen import pitchers come in that aren't necessarily comfortable with catches straight off the bat. We've really seen them struggle sometimes as they get to know the other half of that battery, as she just throws another strike out there and that rise ball. So in this instance, what you've seen Chelsea make that jump from shortstop into catcher because she has so much experience and so much. She's had so much experience in that catching role, both in the Adelaide comp but also interstate and overseas as well. Which brings to bat Sophie Hoyle for the West Torrens Eagles for her first look. And she will take a swing and miss at that rise ball there. But that one there, that looked like a strike. That sort of pitch, that is really hard as a hitter. Like, you have to swing at that because that's going to be a cool strike, right? But that is a really tough one to hit. So not a bad job there for Sophie at identifying that. It's that one that goes that bit higher that is really tricky to stay off of, which is that one right there. And you can see Caudle has done such a good job of throwing that first pitch for a rise ball to say, this is a standard, this is a strike, if you're going to swing at it or not. There it is. got Sophie swinging and then just sort of climbing that ladder that we like to talk about by just seeing how far she can take it, how far out of the zone can she pitch and still convince Sophie to swing at. Because as a pitcher, that's definitely something that I do. It's like a bit of a game of how little strikes can I throw in one game, as Sophie's going to foul that one up and Chelsea's going to take that quite comfortably there in foul territory for the second out of the season. Inning. Probably not the second out of the season.
Plenty more for the season. No, that was a good piece. Again there, Chelsea just up and quickly out of the box there and got herself over to get that comfortably enough. It was a ball that got up pretty high on the bat and tailed its way over to the bench. Not easy when you've got to get up and go to your left, but did well.
How often do you hear people say that the pitcher is only as good as what your catcher is?
Oh, absolutely. It's so true. And it's always Alicia's going to swing at that one, or maybe a call strike, not sure. Either way, strike one on the hitter.
That'd be a swing.
A swing, there we go. That's the official rule. Swing on the bat.
Fourth umpire here called it.
Yeah. Swing at that one too. So again, that rise ball was really tricky. I think so. That first time through the lineup, West Torrens are going to really need to try and adjust from the get-go, because it looks like they're struggling to get runners on base or ball in play. So sometimes it can be a little bit hard to wait that whole first time before you make any adjustments. You know what she's going to throw. Everyone's got the same sort of look. They need to make adjustments from the get-go, as that one's going to be strike 3 and out number 3 for the second inning.
Yep, just continues on her way there, Taylor. And as you said, they don't look like they're behind on the pitch either. They look like the bat's coming through at the right time. Just they're not playing off what the pitch is doing. Yeah. So we ended 2 and we're at 0-0.
Having Spacequake doing what they do with televising these games is a great innovation. But I'm bloody glad they didn't have it when I was umpiring.
I got told you never made a mistake though, so you'll be fine. Umpires don't make mistakes, do they, Alan?
No, of course not. Not generally that we'll admit to anyway.
Yeah, yeah, that is
I made a mistake out here in a C-grade game while I was wearing a green shirt.
Wow.
I got called in to umpire or help out with some umpiring after I'd retired. I said, the only way I'm going to do that is to put on a green shirt, which I did. Knowing what the green shirt program is, I made a shocking call. And the coach wanted to come over and tear a strip off me, especially knowing who I was. And I said, just quietly, you can't do that. You have to talk to the plate umpire who had a blue shirt on. So he did. And the plate umpire came down to me and said, you just made a terrible call. I think you better change it. Well, having said that to me, okay, I will. I knew I'd made the call badly, so I changed the call. But that's what the green shirt program is all about for us.
Yep.
Helping to train the new umpires.
I would love to actually hear more about that green shirt program. This brings up Chelsea Robinson in the top of the 3rd inning for the second time through the lineup.
So you say that, excuse me, part of your role now involves, obviously...
Chelsea's going to foul that one behind her. Amber is going to... She went to basket catch that, and then right at the last second, maybe it changed in the shadow or something. She flipped her glove around, caught it in front of her face. Comfortably, she's having a bit of a giggle there on camera. We can see here on the Arkabar replay, she was really quick to get the mask off.
I reckon it's around about when it probably would have fallen into the backdrop of the grandstand that she's changed her eyes on it.
Absolutely. So she did a really good job to track that all the way to the last second.
So you mentor a fair bit now through the up-and-coming umpires that we're getting in, and we'll talk to the next person when they arrive a bit about how to get involved. But the green shirt role, I'm assuming, wasn't existing back in 1960 when you were looking for a bit of help in your first game and you were thrown in the deep end. But obviously it's been a fantastic initiative brought in to assist with the junior umpires. Did you have any time when you were umpiring where the green shirts were existing and you were helping? No?
No. They only came in probably the last 15 or so years. I didn't have anything to do with them at that point in time, but when I went over to Canada at one stage, I took the information with me and talked to them about, because they were trying to do something about it, increasing and encouraging umpires. So I mentioned to them about the green shirt program. and I had all of the information, left it with them, and they introduced it over there as well.
Fantastic. You're changing things on the international level. I like this. Now, your levels, what level did you get up to?
I got up to level 8.
8?
8.
I didn't know it went
Is
that high.
there anything higher?
No.
Oh, well, there you go.
That makes sense. As Sophie Keen's going to find herself on base again for the second time today with a base on balls walk.
So level 8, and that's international level, is it?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And you've obviously done, I don't know if you kept count over your years, but how many nationals roughly do you reckon you've done in terms of open men or women?
No, off the top of my head I wouldn't be sure about that. I know I did just over 4,000 games total from the time I started through to the time I finished. I did 3 World Championships, 2 Junior World Championships. So you take that into consideration. Then when we're doing around about 12, 15 games at each one, I also did 30 international slow pitch games. So yeah, been a fair bit.
Plenty. And you were very instrumental in the slow pitch stuff that we had here in Adelaide for a little while.
Yes, I was.
Knew the rules and basically ran it.
I wouldn't say ran it, but I certainly had a lot to do with it. I encouraged a few of our umpires to come out and help out with it because they didn't have anybody had any idea with slow pitch. It got to the point where we had the World Pleasant Fire Games here in Adelaide, and that was slow pitch. I ran that.
I can tell you that there's a very proud softball trophy sitting in a cabinet in police headquarters in town from a police softball team winning. I had nothing to do with it. It was well before my time, but
Yep.
I'm assuming if they put one in, they'd be pretty lucky to get it again, I'd imagine.
I would think so, yeah.
No power breakers that could twiddle the deal there.
No.
2-2 count on the batter, Hayley Mayer, runner on 1. Just misses that outside corner. You can see Amber got a little bit crossed up there. Actually, that's a question, Alan. When there's a catcher that shifts inside, shifts outside, presumably say shifts outside for an outside pitch and then gets crossed up and the pitch comes inside, what sort of, how much of a difference or how much does that affect the umpire calling that pitch?
It does have an effect. If the umpire can't adjust their position in time, then it's going to take the tracking of the ball, because we like to track the ball from the pitcher's hand all the way through to the glove. Now, if the catcher moves across and takes that away from us, we now have to rely on what the batter has done, rely on what the catcher's done, or have a guess. And I don't like saying we have a guess, but sometimes we do.
An educated guess.
An educated guess, yes.
As Mayer's going to get on top of that one, ground that over to Scott, who's going to have a great throw from that 5-6 hole to make the out at first base.
Sophie shuffled her way over to second there. It was good. She nearly got the throw there, Hayley, and just a strong arm from Maddie. She had to really balance up quick and get rid of it, which she managed to do.
Yeah, she did such a good job there. There was no additional footwork from her. It was absolute bare minimum. Fielded it, transferred. Hayley's a quick runner, and she's in the left-handed batter's box, and the ball was hit relatively hard. So for Maddie, that out at shortstop was huge. That was a difficult play, and she made that look easy. Which brings to bat Sophie Roberts in the 4-hole for the Walkerville. Obviously, that's not something we try to do often, Alan, but it does sometimes happen.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And, excuse me, sometimes when that happens and the catcher doesn't get the call that they expected to get, turn around and have a bit of a stare at us and what's wrong with that? My response to that would be, don't take the zone away from me.
Yeah.
You take the zone away from me, you will not get the call.
To be fair, if I ever do that, I go, well, look, I obviously missed my pitch. It was a bad pitch. I don't deserve to have the strike call.
And that's generally the case.
Yeah.
But I can't turn around and say that to them.
Yeah. 1-2 count now on the batter. Talia threw a magnificent little change-up beforehand that really just dropped off the table, but called extremely well behind the plate there by Nikki Wong. For a 1-2 count, runner on second base in this 0-0 stalemate of a game almost. And Charlie's going to find that outside corner for strike 3.
Yeah, we first innings we went through the top 4, and the third innings we've gone through top 4. So they're keeping consistent, and they're leaving runners on base, with Sophie King left out at second base that time and left on third the first time. So they're getting them on base, which is what West Torrens need to start doing. We've seen that they've struggled. They've only gone through to their 6 batters in their 2 turns at bat. So we've got no doubt there'll be some good words over there from the coaching group within West Torrens. They're a group now. There's nearly as many of them as there is players over there at the moment. And I'm sure they'll pass the message on and talk through about what they'll have to do come the second turns at bat.
Well, in the middle of the third inning now, game's getting a little bit further along. We will be picking a Sporties Bar player of the game towards the end of the game before you do end up leaving us and we have a little switcheroo of the umpires. Alan, what are you seeing so far? Who's standing out to you for a Sporties Bar player of the game?
No pressure.
Not in the Blues. Well, maybe in the Blues.
No, I wouldn't even say that. The fact that the pitching is on top, I'd have to say Caudle at the moment.
Yeah.
There hasn't been any hitting, or I don't think there's been a safe hitter from her, has there?
No, there's been a line out to second base from Kaiser. There's been a foul fly 2 from Sophie.
Yeah.
Other than that, she's racked up 4 strikeouts on the day.
At this stage, that's where I would be leaning.
Yep, and maybe Sophie King. She's had a walk and a hit so far, doing most of the damage for the Cats over at shortstop. It's still early days, though, isn't it? Lots can happen.
Oh, yeah.
I think Caudle's nearly got player of the match in any Space Quake game she's been on so far.
Yeah.
Well, perhaps we ought to change that around a bit.
Brings to bat Abby Luttrell for the West Torrens Eagles. She takes a big hack at that one for strike 1.
We've got to look after the pitches, I'm told. It's one of the rules in here.
Is that right?
Of course.
One of the things we try to tell the umpires when they're picking the best players, don't always look at the pitcher and the catcher. There are other players out there that deserve, sometimes, might only be one safe hit, but when did they get that safe hit?
Yeah.
It scored a run.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so we need
That's why when Steph pitches, she also bats and puts them out the outfield. So.
Oh, I haven't done that in a while, actually.
No, I have seen you do it, though, Steph.
Oh, so yeah, sometimes.
Humble, I like it.
0-2 count, and that's another 3-pitch strikeout from Caudle. She's had a few of those so far. This lower half of the West Torrens lineup, although there's some really good youngsters coming through, a lot of them would not have seen the sort of backspin and the power from Caudle. So this might be a little bit of adjusting here for the younger girls coming through that West Torrens lineup.
Well, here's pitcher v pitcher, so this will give her a good chance to see what the other person's been doing.
Big swing there by Talia Sutton at a good pitch, definitely a swingable pitch. She's definitely throwing them around there. Sometimes with a rise ball pitcher, tactics could be sit at the back of the box, sit there with decent pitchers, wait for them to bring it down into the zone. But the challenge here with Caudle's, we can see that she is throwing strikes. She's not just throwing them up. She's quite consistently starting with that strike. That one there, really tough pitch to lay off of. It's probably right on that edge of being a call strike or.
Out of the hand, it looks like it's going to be a strike.
Yeah.
And then by the time it reaches the catcher, it's out of the zone.
Yeah.
And she's throwing them hard, so these batters are a fair way back in the box, but the ball's already risen by the time it's going past them.
Mm-hmm. And that's another 3-pitch strikeout, I think, there from Caudle. 6 pitches.
Yeah,
6 strikes, 2 outs.
14 pitches.
Yeah, and look at that on that Arkabar replay. You can see it's right on the corner. It's a no doubt it's a strike every day. So West Torrens are swinging at, for the most part, decent pitches. But not only has she got that rise ball, she's living on that inside corner. So we really need to see West Torrens make some sort of adjustment.
So in the last, including this batter, in the last 6 batters that have faced her, she's had 15 pitches and all of them have been strikes.
Strikes, yeah. That's consistency, eh?
Be interesting to see what happens as the season goes on. As Holt's going to foul that one behind her. Yeah, interesting to see what happens as the season goes on and probably get a bit more eyes on Caudle for everyone here, I suppose. This will be the first time they've seen her. There hasn't been a whole lot of dominant rise balls in the league as of lately.
No.
Someone like Katie Finch comes to mind. She used to have a really, really powerful one. There's been a little bit more of a up and like a bit more of a drop and change up as of recently. So it's been good really to see some rise ball coming in as Holt is going to swing at strike 3. I think it was that what I think it was, Pete?
Yep.
That was a 9-pitch
innings.
9 strikes. Perfect inning.
And I think all those strikes, other than the foul, all those strikes were swung at.
And they were legitimate strikes too. I don't think there was many like that pitch there. That is a pitcher's pitch. That is fantastic.
There might have been 2 if the batter had laid off that wouldn't have got called.
But even still, those 2 they're around. They're great pitches.
That's right.
They're fantastic pitches. So should deserve that every day. Stats so far for this game: Caudle has thrown 27 strikes and 5 balls. So
3 of those balls were to the first batter.
So they were too. Look at that. So she is throwing strikes. It'll be interesting to see, I don't know if this might be asking too much, how many were swung at and how many were called strikes would be interesting to look at.
Lindy's on to it.
She's all over
in charge.
it.
She'll get it.
3 called. So West Torrens definitely going out there swinging. Might need to see them change as we said, change their game plan. Probably even look to some short game, maybe see what they can do to put the ball in play.
Well, they've all had one look now. We've gone through 3 batters each innings and they've all had a look. So it's time to adjust.
From that backfield, Glenelg Rebels have gone up another run. They're up 4-0 in that bottom of the 3rd inning.
Now, Alan, before we swap you in and out, can I ask you a couple of questions hot on the topic? Here we go. Best person you've seen play the game?
Best person I've
ever person you've most enjoyed watching play the game?
Yeah, that's interesting, eh?
Should have asked you these at the start.
Don't think about it too much. Just what?
3 seconds.
The American pitcher.
Okay.
What, this one?
The one that hit you in the throat?
No, that was an Australian pitcher.
Oh, yes, sorry, you're right.
The
screwball.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I forget her name now.
The American pitcher, that's a good start.
Yeah, American pitcher that won the World Championships.
You've umpired for many, many years. Who's the umpire you've most enjoyed umpiring with?
Throwing him under the bus.
Yeah, I'm trying. He's on his way out. We'll do this one.
Okay, a guy that I called Rene Sterkenberg from Holland.
I was going to say the Netherlands, surely.
He's gone out of Australia. He's playing it safe.
I thoroughly enjoyed umpiring with him.
Yeah.
And also Andre Prince. I saw him umpire at the World Junior Championships and I modelled a lot of my game on the way he umpired.
And your final question, what's your one bit of advice for somebody thinking about umpiring but hasn't yet taken it up?
Come out and give it a try. It's not all doom and gloom. We have a lot of fun and we can help you a hell of a lot. As I've mentioned about the green shirt, that green shirt program is the ideal way to come out and learn a little bit about the game and be protected.
Ellie Smith's going to drive that ball to right field, tracked really well by Abby Luttrell for the first out of the inning.
Well, I'm pretty happy with those answers. I've got you hard on the first one. I threw you under the bus, but you've done very well in answering. It's been great to hear your obviously experiences. I suppose one little question, what was your most memorable umpiring moment that you had?
Most memorable was umpiring the Australia USA final, or not final, but at the Olympic Games.
I feel like we didn't really touch on that,
no,
did we?
We didn't get there.
Yeah.
We could have him for about 4 games, I reckon.
Yeah.
Where Australia actually beat the Yanks on a home run that wasn't a home run because the American runner did not touch the home plate.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, I do, yeah.
Yeah.
It's controversial.
I was on that game and it was one of the most memorable, if not stressful.
So was that your call?
No.
Okay.
Thank God for that. But I'll tell you a little story.
He was wearing a green shirt.
The dugouts.
Steph Cole's going to drive that one in the infield. Lana Kaysler calling that straight off the bat for a really quick 1-2-3 inning for the West Torrens Eagles.
The dugouts had toilets in them. And it was very, very humid. We were knocking off litres of water in between innings. and I was busting for a pee.
Oh,
I had to go for a pee. So I had to go into the dugout. Whose dugout? What did it happen to be?
Oh.
The Australian dugout, didn't it? And I got caught coming out of the Australian dugout and got challenged.
Right.
All right. Well, on that note,
that was just a little bit, but it was a very
that's
enjoyable
memorable
game.
for sure,
Yeah.
isn't it? On that note, Alan, thank you very much for joining us. I think we're going to flip over to Steve to learn a bit more about that green shirt program and how anyone else can get involved if they'd like to get involved and try umpiring. But thank you very much. It's been really interesting.
Thank you for letting me join the party.
No, I'm going to recommend to Anthony that we get you back because I think we've got some more that we could talk about. There's
Yeah,
plenty more.
definitely.
All righty.
Thank you for that one.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
So
go
turn,
ahead.
whatever, we were in the bottom of the fourth,
Yep.
0-all. And so far it's been a defensive dominance game. It's really, you can't tell who's going to break first.
No.
So West Torrens haven't been able to get on base. Walkerville's got a couple of it, couldn't get them home.
But it really gives me like those flashbacks to, I reckon it must have been the 2019. I don't know when it was, but when a few years ago, when we had West Torrens and Walkerville were top of the table quite consistently for a few years, maybe 3 finals in a row. I think it was these 2 teams back in the Jesse Drezick era that we were in. But yeah, so I think that the rivalry between these 2 clubs goes back a long way.
I think it's also good to watch because it's a game that you're in. No one's breaking. It's not that no one's trying. They're just not able to get past them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Starting back at the top of the lineup with Matty Scott. We've just got some technical fixing up going on here from the umpire-in-chief.
Well picked there by Chelsea.
And welcome on in. We have Steve Wallace-Yarrow, our umpire-in-chief in South Australia. He's come with a book full of information, no doubt, which I really, really like. We've got some tricky questions for him. We'll throw at him as well, but we'll wait till later on in the day. He's got a card. It says thanks. Wow.
Matty's going to foul that one off.
Our umpires got into an umpire appreciation round recognition as well.
Wow, have a look at this. This is fantastic. Wow, I like it. Thank you, everyone. There's a lot of names on there, and you're about to tell me that you want more.
Oh, it's a lot of money went out of hands. It was rather special.
2-1 count on the hitter here for Scott. As she fouls that one back just out of the reach of Roberts and Robinson.
So welcome to the commentary box. We'll enter this battle. We'll have a bit of a chat to you about your role here and what you do in the Adelaide competition and throughout South Australia for the umpires and how people can work to get involved, where they can get involved, how they get involved and what it takes once you are involved. There'll be plenty of questions I'm sure you can answer on that.
I'm sure we'll try our best.
Really well done there by Scott. This is such a key at-bat for the West Torrens lineup. That second time through, someone like Maddie who she's a natural righty, but she hits really well from the left-handed batter's box. She'll hit, she'll slap and she'll bunt. Getting on top of that rise ball for someone like a slapper in Maddie right now, if she can just get on top, hit the ball on the ground, she's a fast runner. She can cause a lot of damage on the bases. So real key at-bat here, I think, for the Eagles. It's really to kick off this second time through the lineup. See if they can get something going. She's going to drive that one, just going to fall short of Hayley Mayer in centre field for the first hit for the West Torrens Eagles.
Yeah, that was a good piece at bat there. She stuck at it. She got the strikes on her. She was 2-1 down. She put a couple off down the third base line before just really, as you said, just holding on that ball and getting the ball into play. And as you said, I think it was last innings or the one before, it's travelled that quick. They've just got to get people on base. That's what they need to start to do.
Yeah, and move them around too.
Always nice to see those left-handed slappers. They're already a bit closer to first base.
Yeah, as an umpire, when you see a left-handed slapper in the box, are there certain things you're looking for?
Leaving the box early?
Yeah, well.
Whether the ball might hit them out of the box when they've taken off in a hurry.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, but generally we're calling balls and strikes the same as we do on the other side.
Yeah, it's cool. Love that.
Well, you've joined us. It's 0-all. So anyone just coming into the coverage, it's 0-all. It's been very tight. It's been very defensive. Not many hits.
Amber Hood just pulls back on that. You'll see in this bunt situation, and let me tell you, this is a bunt situation. You're a 0-0 ball game. You're about an hour into the game, runner on one with none out. West Torrens struggling to get bat on ball. All they want to do is move the runner around, try and get her into scoring position. Bunt situation here for the West Torrens Eagles. If she hadn't already been throwing rise balls all game, I can tell you right now, as a pitcher, I'd be throwing rise balls. As Amber's going to foul that one off to put her in a 2-strike count. Potentially we might see her move away from the bunt situation, because obviously if she does bunt that second strike and it goes foul, that's an automatic out. Sometimes you will see coaches push, still give the hitter the green light to go ahead and bunt, but in a game like this one, the Eagles are quite obviously struggling to put bat and ball. Probably not the call today, as she squares up for what I'm presuming is going to be a 2-strike adjustment for a 1-2 count. And she's going to swing and miss for strike 3 on the hitter.
That's I've got it down as 8, 9 strike out of the game.
Having a good game.
Yeah, she's having a very good game. As the field, though, that can be challenging when the pitcher is so dominant that they're not getting any balls in the game. That is really hard as a defensively to sort of sit there and be able to switch it on straight away. Yeah, as Lana's going to pull back on that one.
The ball hasn't left the infield. As you said, outside of the strikeouts, we've had that line drive off the edge of the toe of the bat that went to Erin Stone at second, and then the foul fly that was caught by Chelsea Robinson over by the third base bench. So the ball hasn't, let alone gone in the infield. Until that hit out to centre field just a minute ago, it hasn't actually been in play.
Maddie Scott's going to take on the arm of Chelsea Robinson, and she is called out at second base.
That was a gun throw.
That was a great throw. So you can see Lana squared around a bunt, pulled back. Look at how good that transfer was. Threw it from the knees on a dime, and Maddie's a quick runner too.
And very quickly showing the umpire that they had the ball in the glove of Sophie King. Got herself into positioning nicely as well. And as you said, Maddie's quick, and they got her quite comfortable.
Yeah, that was a fantastic throw from Charles. Oh, for a foul, I think. Looked like it must have hit her bat.
Yeah, called foul.
Yeah, I think if it hit her hands, we'd know about it. That would hurt.
Did she have a hand injury last year sliding into second? Is that a hand injury?
Oh, I don't know, probably. Lana gets hit a bit, I think. I don't know. So a bit of a different situation now. That runner's been thrown out. We've got to see 2 out on the batter, no one on base, and Lana's going to foul that one behind you. Risky play there by West Torrens, and you see they've been, every game so far this season, they've been really aggressive with their base running. Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. You see in this instant, didn't pay off. But still good to see them pushing the envelope, especially early in the season.
Is it just a case of nil all game, getting two-thirds of the way through, trying to put someone in scoring position?
Yeah, absolutely it is. And that is strike 3 on the hitter for another, 1-2-3 inning, I suppose, even with the lead-off hit from Maddie Scott. Yeah,
4 innings down, and they've just had the 12 batters, so Walkerville doing nicely. Steve Olisiero, as we said, welcome along. We've heard from Alan McCullough about his life, his career in softball, and the 3 umpires. He introduced them to us, told us their levels and their backgrounds. For someone wanting to get involved in umpiring in South Australia, whether it be here in Adelaide or any association across our wonderful state where we play softball, how do you get involved in it?
Okay, so there's a range of options open, and it's important that clubs are aware of that pathway so that they can guide the people who come into the sport. I never played. My wife and I have three daughters. They all played, and so I got into the sport through our girls, our eldest rather, at about age 8 to 10, starting her softball career, and coaching, and then needing to fill in as an umpire, and I enjoyed the umpiring and have stayed with it. So it's one of those things that you're doing something with a club. So as a parent coming in, there's that pathway. As a young person, we have a program that we've been working with secondary kids to umpire at SAPSASA tournaments and identifying kids. They get a few days off school, they get a training, and they work towards a level 1 there. But anybody, and there's a number of kids out on the diamond right now. So Caitlin Holt came through that SAPSASA SACE program years ago, and she's a level 1 badged umpire. So we've got a number out here that we recognise have come through before, and it's just a matter of if someone expressed an interest, passing them through to either us in the sign-in room, getting them in touch with our webpage, or Revolutionise Sport contact, as is on the billboard outside, or even just a personal contact with any blue out here. If someone last week approached Toby Sadler on third base and said, look, I'm interested in getting into umpiring, how do I do that? Toby took their number and name, and we've got a contact.
They're on Diamond 5 right now. No?
I wish.
Sorted.
So there's all sorts of ways, yeah.
As a player, I can appreciate that if you do go through that umpiring sort of pathway, like that can only help you as a player as well. If you can get a better sense of understanding the rules and how the umpiring does work, I can imagine as a player that would really sort of complement that as well.
Absolutely. We will often talk to the people who are doing the training that if they're players, play as long as they like, because we can umpire a lot longer than we play at a top level. So it can be worth an extra out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or an extra run.
Strikeout there by Talia Sutton on Taylor for the first out of the inning. Brings up Erin Stone, the 9-hitter for the Walkerville Cats.
And so once you're in umpiring and you've got your level 1, and we heard from Alan McAuliffe a lot about the green shirt program before and how wonderful that's been as coming into the sport. Wasn't existing when he was around. Once you started your umpiring, how do you progress through it? How do you go through your stages? And, if you want to get to Premier League level or you want to go to national level, what are the levels you need and how long does it take to get there?
Okay, and just because I know this goes out to a national audience, nationally it was referred to as the coloured shirt program, and you'll find some states have taken on a pinky red type of colour, but it's just one that stands out. We've taken on the green. And that's been used across a lot of sports. This isn't just a softball thing. It was supported through a government agency at one stage. While there's still support, the financial support's not there, so some of the resources are gone, but the ethics of the program still remain in place. The pathways, well, there's some trainings online, and like when we've got someone who's identified, been in through the green shirt program and identified that they want to go on, we watch them on the diamond, either here through juniors or C and D grade, and when we think they've shown us some of those skills, good hit.
Erin Stone's going to rip that one down left field line. She gets all of that. It's a double, and she's going to hold there at 2 as Holt Quick Smart gets that in to hold her at 2, which could have quite easily been a triple there by Erin Stone.
Yeah, a few short steps taken around the second base there by Erin Stone. I was watching her run. She looked up to Coach Bindi Stansfield at third. She sort of hobbled her way off a couple of steps and then decided didn't have the momentum, so just played smart and held up.
She got all of that there. That was a great swing there by Erin on the Arkabar replay. Caitlin Holt picked it up pretty quick. Yeah, pretty happy to stay there at 2, especially when you've now, so Erin Stone is your 9-hitter. You got runner on 2 in scoring position with 1 out. Brings to bat Chelsea Robinson, Sophie King, Hayley Mayer. I think for this scenario, keeping Erin at second is definitely the right call, because a hit to the outfield, especially by Chelsea, is going to score that runner any day, because you can see the outfield is relatively deep on someone like Chelsea, rightfully so.
Yeah, definitely a very handy position, Erin, just continuing that good start to the season she's had. I don't know if she's done something in the off-season, but she's definitely come back a little surprise packet so far.
Yeah, it really highlights also how important that 9-hole hitter is. So for that 9-hole hitter to get on, turn around that lineup with some runners on base, creates such a difference in terms of the dynamic, especially for someone like Chelsea.
As you said, with the top 4 that they've got in their lineup, plus Ellie, who's already put bat on ball twice to decent positions, unfortunately got caught both times. She's known as a power hitter. Your top 5 are good. If your 9's on, you're looking pretty healthy.
So Chelsea in a hitter's count with 3 and 1, and you see on deck is Sophie King, who has gone 2 for 2 with getting on base so far tonight with a walk and a single. Chelsea gets walked, not the worst thing in the world, as she fouls that one behind her. As I said, Chelsea gets walked, does create that force for the infield to play with. However, that does bring Sophie up to bat, who has been having such a good game with 2 runners on. And a lot of speed between Erin and Chelsea and Sophie King.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of speed on the field for Walkerville right now. Chelsea's going to pepper that. Oh, absolutely nail it down to left field. Caitlin Holt does a good job picking up, just loses it in the transfer. Erin Stone's going to come in home plate standing up. Chelsea Robinson standing up on second gets an RBI for her team to put the Walkerville Cats ahead 1-0.
That was a phenomenal hit, but it was also a great piece of initial fielding out there by Caitlin Holt. It just a little half volley in. It was just as she transferred, as you said, it came up out of the glove, which just got free of her and allowed the run to come home. Probably would have held it at third otherwise, but would have had 2 in strong positions. As you said, Chelsea Robinson can put a bat on ball, and she did it there.
Yeah, textbook swing there by Chelsea. And with the speed of Erin, you've got to think that that puts pressure on the outfield, even though Caitlin did such a good job to glove that ball. Just sort of got away from her.
And a good call by Toby, who went out on that hit, calling no catch.
Yeah,
it was very clear.
Close, wasn't
very
it?
Clear. Yep.
Yeah, I assume that will go down as a single for Chelsea with potentially an error.
Advanced on the
error. Yep, I'm getting the green light, well, the red light, technically, from Lindy over there. So that brings to bat Sophie King, who's already got a hit tonight with another runner in scoring position for ball 1 on the first pitch.
All right, so you've told us how you get involved and what you can be looked and watched as you move through your levels. There's some online learnings to do as well.
Yep.
What levels are we talking about for Premier League, national level type umpiring? What are you going to get to for that?
All right, so we have had one of our level 2 umpires umpiring on base at the Premier League, but that's a rarity. He's shown himself to be quite competent. That's Jordan Taylor. But mostly people are a level 3 and above out here. So Acacia who's on first base is a level 3 umpire. Toby on third base is a level 4 umpire, and Nikki is umpiring at a level 5.
Just on that one, Sophie King popped up to left field for the second out, but as Chelsea is the catcher, a little speed-up catcher rule put Sophie out to run for Chelsea. So again, same sort of situation. You've got your 3-hitter in Hayley Mayer with Sophie King out on second base running for Chelsea Robinson. So still a whole lot of speed on the field. Honestly, if West Torrens can get out of this with just the 1 run scored, it's actually probably a bit of a win for the Eagles.
Yep. Well taken there by Amber.
Yeah, just misses that one high for Talia.
I reckon it was a game last year I was commentating. Sophie King crossed the plate, I think, 5 times in the game. She went out as courtesy runner 3 times, crossed it herself twice.
Hayley's going to foul that one down left field line. Well, Sophie can get on base on her own that much, but then Chelsea can also get on base. Yep. And if Chelsea's catching and where they sit in the lineup, you're right.
Perfect.
Sophie's just going to run around those bases all day, isn't she?
Sophie's speed is huge as well.
And her game awareness too, I think. Yes. Like, she's obviously played this game for a while. She's been through all the state team programs. She's played for the Stars many years. So she's got a lot of experience. And so she can play the game and she can read the ball really well. As Talia's going to catch her swinging for strike 3. Wow. As we said, West Torrens, even though they come out of that with that 1 run against, that could have gotten a lot worse for West Torrens. So Sutton shows some serious nerve then to strike out some of that senior player there in Hayley Mayer.
Yeah, to hold it to 1 was very impressive because, as you said, you get to 2, it's that little bit more of a gap on the scoreboard. It's the 1, it's just one run across the plate.
Especially that third time through the lineup. The hitters often start to see you, they get a bit more comfortable, but for Talia to still be out there throwing strikeouts third time through the lineup, for such a young sort of up-and-coming pitcher, she's doing such a fantastic job.
Looks like we might have a change coming up here. Number 47, I think it's Kelly Bested going out to right field.
Good eyes on that, Pete.
Well, I just saw Bindi was walking around talking to her scorer, looking at umpires, so I had to work out who was missing.
Yeah.
So it's Good call there, Bindi. Well played. Casey Taylor out and Kelly Bested in.
Good to see Walkerville filtering through some new and some young faces as well. Got that good sort of mix between relying on your veteran players like your Chelsea Robinsons and your Sophie Kings and your Sophie Roberts, but then also able to filter in some of that new blood.
But as you're saying, that experience was the ones that we got out here that are experienced, your Chelsea Reynolds, your King, your Roberts and them, they've got to be helping the young players as well.
You can see Mayer out there in centrefield having a bit of a chat out there to Kelly Bested just to start the inning, just fill her in. This is what's happening. This is what we're looking for straight off the bat. And that leadership from Hayley, even though she did have a few years off of the Premier League, but she's played a lot of games out here as well, so she knows what she's doing. Brings to bat Emma Burridge for the West Torrens Eagles. We'll be looking to see if she can get bat on ball for the Eagles. Oh, well, she got bat on ball there, didn't she?
Well, I know the cricket season's back. That was a perfect late cut, but...
just fouled that one off.
So, level 3, you're saying, is the general gist for Premier League?
Yeah, and that's because Acacia will work towards a level 4 and she'll be assessed at this level for a level 4. So she needs to be familiar with the coaches, the players, and the standard of play.
Am I right in saying level 4 is the last one you get locally? 5 and above
Yes.
is at national tournaments?
Absolutely, yeah, 5 and above.
That's good. So, I don't reckon Nikki got it recently?
Oh, I'm not sure when Nikki got hers. I really don't remember.
Okay.
I know that Pete got his recently.
Yep.
That's not last season, the one before.
As Burridge is going to just put bat on ball and drive that up the middle for the second hit for the West Torrens Eagle to start us off in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Yep. So that's obviously for second person that's got on base for West Torrens so far here, with obviously Maddie Scott hitting that one out to centre field before getting on.
Yeah, so she's done such a good job of that like low outside, not that rise ball, but you can see if the Eagles can lay off that rise ball, she's going to be forced to throw some other pitches, right? And that's what she's done there. As Sophie Hoyle's going to lay down the sack bunt, Mason's going to pick it up, check 2, make the out at 1, pushing Emma Burridge across to second base.
Is it about, would you call that patience in the box?
Yeah, discipline.
Discipline, right.
Great bunt there by Sophie. You can see she was throwing that rise ball. She was trying to get her to pop it up to try and keep the runner at first base, but Sophie started the bat at the top of the zone, kept it there, stayed on top of the ball, got the ball down.
And Emma was off very quickly from first, so
Break
there was
that ball
never
really
the play
well.
over there.
No. Brings up Alicia Marchink with a runner on 2 in scoring position. She's going to miss that one in. So we see Caudle now mixing it up a little bit. That's probably a testament to Chelsea as well, trying to identifying that she's not going to be able to just sit there and throw rise balls all game. She's going to have to mix that up. And sometimes, I know as a pitcher and a catcher, it can get really easy to fall into that trap of just going, rise ball, rise ball, rise ball, rise ball. I've done it myself, right? Like, it's very easy to fall into that trap. But, did she catch that?
Yep, fair fly. Caught it nicely and turned quickly to look at third, but Emma had to obviously hang back, and it was a lovely play again by Chelsea. The quick movement out from behind that plate.
Quick she gets out with the glove.
She has been Australian representative.
Yes.
Has that been as a catcher?
She's done a bit of everything for Australia. Right. Actually, I think she's spent time as a catcher. She's spent time at shortstop first, been in the outfield, a little bit of a utility. Yeah, been in and around that Aussie Spirit squad for a number of years, so she's learnt from some of the best. She's had really high-level exposure as well.
Very handy person to have back in behind that plate.
Definitely.
And in this circumstance, you'd be saying from Walkerville would be looking to try to get out without that runner getting home, given that the first one got on base.
Yep. We are moving to 4:13 on the afternoon. So as the bottom of the 5th, probably get one more inning in.
So Steve, your challenges at the moment with umpires and getting umpires, do you have some at all?
So, yes, recruitment and retention is important, and the retention's been pretty good because the atmosphere and the camaraderie amongst the Blues is excellent. the recruitment is always an issue because we get young people in through the secondary program, and there's a lot of distractions for young people as they're going through like the year 12. We've lost some umpires during that year 12 time when the study becomes pretty intense. Also, the attraction of work, and this isn't just for umpiring. I could talk to all the clubs and they'd be saying the same things about players around those years. It's when those umpires who come in see enough enjoyment, enough challenge in the program in order to stay with it because it's an outlet for them. We've got a couple of umpires who in their early days have earned some good money doing some umpiring, and so it's as much as they would get working at one of the fast food chains during a Saturday. So outside here, much more fun.
Nice. I like it.
Update from the back diamond, we'll see that Glenelg have started to run away with it. 5-0 up on the Sturt Falcons. What's that going to do to the ladder, Pete? So we see Walkerville's currently on top.
So if it stays as is, Walkerville will go that extra game clear on top, but they will be a game up on West Torrens, who will be 3 points behind them.
Game and a half up.
Game and a half up, yeah. It'll probably just cement that sort of top spot for them that they'll look to continue.
As Roberts is going to drive that one right side. Can of corn for Abby Luttrell out there for out one of the inning.
Depending on how this game goes, we might get a 7-inning game just quietly. We're already into the 6th. As far as Glenelg go, that'll put them up above Sturt, so Sturt will move back into the 6th spot. They will go up into 5th with...
Equal third, I think, maybe?
They'll go to 6 points, runs against 30. They'll probably sit still in 5th. They'll be equal on points, but... They'll be equal third with Port Adelaide Seacombe, who we have playing straight after, as we saw Seacombe. I just saw a minute ago running around the outfield.
Yeah, so that'll
up.
be definitely one to watch coming up.
There they are over the back of the home run fence, just sneaking in behind the MC sign as the Seacombe Tigers warming up. Yeah, that'll be a cracking game as well. That's 3v4. So we've actually had 1v2, 3v4 and 5v6 today. And
Ellie Smith here is the hitter. We saw her swing at the first pitch, her first at-bat. Then we saw her go deep in the count. Her second at-bat and hit a pretty deep fly ball out there to Abby Luttrell. So we know she likes to swing and swing hard. Be interesting to see what she can do here for her third at-bat. Swings hard at that one. Maddie Scott's going to attack that, pick that up on the hop like an absolute champ. Throw it over to Soph, who makes a great stretch over there at first base for a clean out.
She's had some tricky little plays over there. They had the first play of the game with Chelsea Robinson out from shortstop over to first base. She had the other one through the game. I think it might have been Hayley Mayer that was the awkward take and the arm over. And that, again, just a little awkward little hop.
Yeah, she read that so well because she could have attacked that.
She sat back on it.
She sat back on it but still managed to pick it. Like, she's just got such good hands over there at shortstop.
Trusting the bounce as well.
Yeah, and of course a great stretch over there by Sophie.
And I suppose when you've got a consistent and strong arm, you've just got to take the ball cleanly, and that's all she focuses on.
Mason's the hitter. Started off with a hit to right field as she creams that one to left, and Holt makes a fantastic catch out there. That was hit hard, wasn't it?
There's a little jump when that catch was taken. I think she ran in and went, oops, I've gone too far, and just a little hop up, as we see here on the replay. Hit out nice and hard.
If
that had got past her, it was going to the fence. Little jump, well taken.
She hit that really well to close off the top of the 6th inning. We're in the middle now. West Torrens looks like this might be their last chance. We're looking at 4:17. So see how this inning goes. It might be the last. If it's a quick one, then we might sneak into 7 innings. I tell you what, a West Torrens Walkerville 7-inning game is classic.
Well, yeah, I don't know when the last Premier League 7 innings was outside of finals time, but
yeah.
So, Steve, you were saying that, there's lots of other things, lots of other pressures, not just for umpiring, but for players and in any sport, I guess, is the thing. What's your words of advice for someone who's thinking about getting involved? We heard Alan say just do it. What's your words of advice?
It's important to have people that you can talk to, because you're not always the most liked person on the diamond, and you need to make decisions not worrying about what other people necessarily think, and that's not for some people. So it's really good to have a support network, people you can talk to. And over the years, I've been blessed to have a lot of a lot of really good people to work with me and support me as I've come through the ranks. So when a club identifies someone who'd like to umpire, and quite frankly, it'd be great to see more players get involved at some level, it'd be good to have people there to support them. It doesn't mean we always agree with the decisions I make.
Well, another pitcher v pitcher matchup here as Sutton comes to the plate, swings at the first pitch for strike one.
One of the great things that I've noticed over the years is the relationship, for instance, between statisticians and umpires, and that we work really closely while we're on the games together. They support us while we're there. We use them for some guidance at times, and so there's a big team that happens off diamond as well. I'd suggest that if someone wants to get involved with it, they talk to their club and/or come and see us. Like I said on the website, get involved, have a go, as Al said, and look. The best way to learn more about this game is to make some mistakes.
Parents, brothers, sisters, grandparents on the sideline watching their kids get out there.
Absolutely. I was the parent whose children were going to play, and having never played, and here I am.
Now you're the boss.
Well,
Boss.
I've managed to umpire in every state and territory in Australia, and being taken around doing that is just a joy.
As Caitlin Holt will try to put down a running bunt there, pop it up. Chelsea Robinson's going to take that pretty easily for the second out, as we saw a strikeout also to Sutton to lead off.
I think she's lucky that hit the bat.
Yeah. Good to see West Torrens starting to try and make some adjustments, put some short ball into play. But in the bottom of the sixth inning with 5 minutes to go, down by 1 run, hoping they can get something started as Cordell will find that strike one on Maddie Scott. Maddie Scott did have that hit up the middle last time that fell just in front of Mayer. We'll be hoping to do something again similar.
People could do things like you did, Pete, where you get out, you have a go, you had a bit of fun doing the green shirt, and there you were. I'm not sure when you're working towards your level 1, but that's got to be a next step, surely.
I did the umpiring exam in the off season when it came out, and I passed that, got my 70-odd%, so just making them up as I go. I didn't agree with the ones I got wrong. I think the rules were wrong.
I'm just looking forward to when you actually get on diamond a bit more, so we can actually, put that level 1 on against your name.
Right.
But it's the sort of thing that you did. You said you were prepared to fill in and have a go.
You're right. I did the state champs, I think it was last year, when we had that many games going on with juniors and seniors. I got to umpire with Pete fairly. I had hay fever horribly, couldn't see what was going on. They asked me, did the person swing? I had no idea because I could hardly see the batter. So I just agreed with Pete.
Maddie Scott's going to foul that one down the line for a 2-2 count. Bottom of the 6th here with 2 out, trying to get something going for the Eagles.
Luckily, 5 minutes later, the game ended, and I was out of there to get some antihistamines. But
and if you'd taken the antihistamines, would you have seen any better?
Probably not, no. I was having fun out there.
Good. And that's the whole thing, It's out there having a bit of fun. Yep. It's amazing how much you learn as you go through. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just saying, Maddie's fighting pretty hard there.
Yeah.
After falling behind 0-2.
Yep.
Fouled a couple off, seen a couple balls.
And you talk about the advancements and the connections that's got closer now with the statisticians and that. What about this production, the Spacequake Sports? How has it helped you and your umpiring fraternity?
Oh, look, the addition of Spacequake has been fantastic for the competition because it's attracted such an audience overseas.
Your most memorable moment in the sport?
Oh, look, I was talking with Anthony Weatherstone about it just the other day. One of the things that has been most memorable for me was I umpired on the plate for a Chinese Taipei Italy game that went to 11 innings. And that was in the Asia Pacific Cup at Blacktown, and it was a great game. As we do as Blues, I got a lot of flack about my game management. How did I let it go for 11 innings? But on the other hand, I got some people saying, "Wow, what a great game!" So
I've just finished saying at the start, the umpires don't make mistakes out there. It's all development opportunities, not mistakes.
Absolutely.
And then from there, obviously, you've just enjoyed the game. What's your one bit of advice for anybody wanting to be in the game, be a player or whatever?
Oh, you have to enjoy it. Otherwise, you don't keep coming back. And you're going to make mistakes, and you want to make mistakes. It's the learning from them that's the big thing. So get out there, have a go, and enjoy the people around you as well.
And we would have just seen some running around there as they're getting their positions ready for the cameras. I'll hand over shortly to Steph Trzynski when she's ready. We're good to go.
Thanks, Pete.
Producer. Good to go.
I'm over here with the winning pitcher today, Taylor Caudle, and who had the 1 RBI on the 1-0 win. Girls, Taylor, how are you feeling today? You were throwing absolute rockets. Risewell was looking good. What was going through your head?
Yeah, it felt really well. I mean, we had a Wednesday off, so I think that was helpful to have some good recovery, playing every single week. Chelsea did a really good job of calling that game, so it was really good. Yeah.
And Chelsea, obviously the masterminds behind all the strikeouts tonight, also hit in the 1 RBI for the game. What were you feeling at the plate?
I just needed to make an adjustment. I think we were all just not getting at-bats like we wanted, so we made the adjustment and tried to make things happen.
Awesome, love that. Thanks for joining me, girls, and good luck next Wednesday for your game. Awesome, back to you.
Thank you very much there. As we saw today's game, 1-0 goes the way of Walkerville. Caudle in the middle with 11 strikeouts, 3 hits against her name. Maddie Scott with 2 singles to centre field and 5 plays from shortstop to first in that game. 1-0 the way of Walkerville. We will be back here on Wednesday night where we will see Sturt taking on West Torrens. So the West Torrens fans, you'll get to see them again. And no doubt Sturt looking to come back off of the back game today where they've gone down to Glenelg. Thank you very much to Alan McAuliffe and Steve Volasiero for your time. It's been a pleasure getting to know you guys and hear about how to get involved. And Steph Trzynski, thank you very much for your time and your call of the game. It's been great getting your insights and no doubt learning a little bit from the umpires as to what they want to see you do.
Thanks for that, Pete.
No worries, guys. Thank you very much. We'll see you all Wednesday night.
Thanks so much.